and peculiar one here, and welcome to project number 3. Project number 3 is going to be similar to project number 2 in that I'm going to be knitting a cowl. But the difference is I'm going to be using circular needles. I've never done anything on circular needles before. I've been practicing for the past 2-3 days, and it's been horrific. So I'm going to go online, on YouTube of course, and check out some circular needles tutorials, and I'll favorite them and maybe make a playlist for you so that you can see what tutorials I found to be helpful. And maybe I'll make a tutorial of my own for you to follow. The other really cool thing about this cowl is I'm going to be using 2 colors again, purple and pink, but instead of holding the 2 strands together, I'm going to be making block stripes. So there'll be a block of purple and a block of pink, and another block of purple and another block of pink. The other really cool thing about this cowl is I'm going to teach you a new stitch. Each block will be a different stitch. Right now we're just going to be doing purls. So one block will be knit, the next block will be purl stitch, one block will be knit, and the next block will be purl stitch, and so on and so forth. So you'll be able to learn a new stitch if you haven't already learned a purl stitch. So stay tuned and we'll learn how to do these crazy circular needles together, and I'll teach you how to purl. So keep watching. Okay, so to get started, and as you can see, I already have started a bit. I don't have, the pattern I have is in my head. I know what I want it to look like, and I'm pretty sure I know exactly how to make it look that way. The trick is always how to start, how to cast on, how many stitches to cast on when you're working with stuff in your head, at least for me. So what I did was I knew that I wanted it to fit. I knew that I wanted it to fit snug around my neck, and, well, it's not even for me, it's for somebody else, but that person knew they wanted it to fit snug around their neck, so the wire part of the circular needle is about the size I'm guessing that she would want. And the cool thing about that is it's still going to have tons of stretch, so if she decides later on that she wants to pull the cowl down, twist it and wrap it twice around her neck for even more fluff and warmth, that's going to be possible. So I did not count any cast on stitches. What I did was I held a little bit of tail against the needles, and then I took yarn and I measured it down to the other needle one time. Then I took the same strand, I measured it down to the next needle 2 times, and then I took that same strand and measured it down the needle 3 times. So whatever the length of the circular part is on your circular needle 3 times. Now I am all tangled. Where is it? There it is. So it would be this much. Let's see. It's probably about, I don't know, maybe 10 inches longer than a yard. That's what I cast it on. And I just cast it on the same way I always cast on. Twist it once around my finger, around the loop, like so. I got a cast on tutorial on my channel. Otherwise, there's tons of different methods to cast on all over the web. Find one that works best for you. So here we are. I've got my cast on stitches. Who knows how many is there? I'm not even going to count. I just know that is about how wide I want it. So let's go on to the next step. You have all your cast on stitches on your circular needle. You want to mark on the needles where your stitches begin. Now you can go out and buy really super cute stitch markers, or you can be thrifty and look around your house and find a safety pin, like so. That's all I'm going to use. So I'm going to take my safety pin, I'm going to open it up. Good grief, I'm going to try and open it up. And I'm going to put the safety pin in the very last cast on stitch. That's going to be the very first knit stitch. So it's going to look like this. Otherwise, if you're knitting in the round, you might, if you're not counting your stitches, and I have no intention of counting, you might forget where the beginning is. So now I know where my beginning is. Okay, so I've watched a few knitting tutorials on YouTube, and I like Knitting Tips by Judy. She does a really great knitting on circular needles tutorial. So I watched several others, and I liked and favorited them. So if you want to go through and find on my channel the ones I liked that taught me how to do this, that's fine. I'm not going to be upset if you learn on someone else's channel. I'm just excited for people to be knitting whichever way, learning by whomever teaches them. So anyway, apparently the very most important thing, one of the most important things you do before you start knitting on your circular needles is making sure there's no twist in the seam. Whether you have the seam facing out or in, you just want to make sure there is no twist. I'm just going to double check. Apparently if there is a twist, you're not going to be able to fix it later on. This is the only time. So look at that. That's kind of, we'll have to wait and see. That looks like that could pose a problem later. Crazy stretched out. Yeah, that might be a problem. Oh, there we go. Learning experience for all of us. So, okay, it looks like my stitches are not twisted. I have a marker. I'm using a safety pin on the very first stitch. And here's my tail. I'm going to leave that one. Just leave it hang. And this is my working yarn or my ball yarn. And one of the tutorials I watched, the woman suggested crisscrossing the last cast on stitch with the very first stitch, and I kind of like that because I played with I'm going to do it while I tell you. I played with these circular needles for the past couple days, and when I knitted without having a crisscross, it was kind of, I guess I should get in the picture here. It was kind of a mess. So I don't know if that was in the picture. I'm going to pull it out. Hopefully it won't mess up and do it again. Yikes. Okay. So I'm just going to take, let's see here. I'm going to take right here a split. Let me pull it off and stick it back on my needle again. Okay, so I'm going to take this last stitch and I'm going to put it on this needle, and then I'm going to cross this stitch and put it on this needle. Otherwise, there's a good possibility that the seamlessness of knitting on circular needles will then have a crazy seam or an opening, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to go ahead and slip that stitch onto my right needle, and I'm going to pick up the last stitch on my right needle, cross it over the one I slipped off, and there you have it. They are together tight. I'm also going to give a pull on my tail, leave that go, and then I'm going to give a pull on the working yarn or the yarn that's attached to the ball. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start knitting, and it's tight. I gotta tell you, that is really tight, but I guess better too tight right there than too loose. That's what I hear. So I'm just going to go ahead and, gosh, yeah, they're tight. I'm going to go ahead, excuse me, and knit the whole way around. And when I get to the end where my stitch marker or my safety pin is, I'll check in with you. So, okay, here we go.